Hi everyone, I'm Ilayana, pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm the mental well-being lead for the Pulse Health Education Program. Today, my goal is to give you an overview of how to nurture your mental health and manage your stress. Let's start with distinguishing mental health and mental illness. The US Department of Health and Human Services notes that mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we all think, feel, and act. Mental illnesses are syndromes detailed in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. While not everyone gets diagnosed with mental illness, we all have mental health, and the stability of our mental health is influenced by how we manage our day-to-day lives. We're all human, and we experience a spectrum of emotions, so it's vital to have the tools and resources to be cognizant of these emotions. That way we can be kind to ourselves when we feel off. Ask yourself the question, where do I currently stand with my mental health? If you aren't feeling 100% right now, are you accepting of this? When developing healthy mental well-being practices, it's essential to find acceptance regardless of where we stand on the scale of happiness. There is no right or wrong way to feel, which is why it's important to accept the feelings you're experiencing. When we accept our mental health, we become more empathetic to what other people are experiencing. One of the key reasons stigma around mental health exists is that we sometimes forget to honor the way we feel. When we're feeling upset, worried, or mentally burdened, those are simply feelings. They don't define who we are. Noting this, we can begin to show empathy towards ourselves and others without judgment or criticism. We can honor moments of high and low energy as aspects of the human experience, instead of as a personal trait that defines us. One way to nurture your mental health is through stress management. Stress is a feeling of being uncomfortable, but we can break it down even more. According to Cascade, a behavioral health agency, there are two types of stress. Eustress is good for you. It's a motivator. Examples being remembering some work you have due soon and knowing it's something achievable with a bit of effort. Distress, however, is severe in feeling. It's a feeling of inability to cope with the current pressures going on. An example of this could be losing your job with apartment rent being due soon. It's mainly an individual's response that determines whether something is eustress or distress, because people handle different workloads and experiences in a variety of ways. There is no correct way to handle stress, but there are methods that can help mitigate the uncomfortable and often overwhelming effects of stress. According to the American Psychological Association, for acute short-term stress, there are a couple of immediate effects on your body, including elevated heart rate, headaches, negative emotions, etc. For example, say you're driving downtown and someone cuts you off, so you have to slam on your brakes. Your immediate physical reaction might include symptoms such as an elevated heart rate or anger/hostility. In the short term, symptoms of stress such as these can be a good thing. They make you slow down to avoid an accident. However, problems arise when you start feeling the effects of chronic stress. When you have constant stress for a long time, you start getting symptoms like anxiety, migraines, susceptibility to illness, or even impaired memory. Your body is putting so much energy into protecting itself that it stops focusing on feeling mentally and physically well. The most beneficial way to decrease stress would be through systemic change. Self-care strategies are useful stress management techniques to help yourself, but they aren't strategies in lieu of systemic change. For those who want to try self-care, the most important thing to note is that self-care is situational as well as individual. This can look like getting enough sleep, fueling your body with nutritious food, and finding movement activities that work for you, which may include walking, going to the rec, and spending time with friends. Another way to cope with stress is by doing breathing exercises when overwhelmed. Controlling your breath and your movements can return stability during stressful moments. Mindfulness is also becoming an increasingly popular self-care practice. Mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness on the present moment, while calmly acknowledging one's feelings and thoughts. It emphasizes that there is no right or wrong way to feel. You can practice mindfulness by checking in with yourself throughout the day or journaling. Lastly, creating a schedule for completing work and mapping out priorities helps to create a structure to your life, which can lead to feeling more in control and focused. In the end, how you choose to combat stress is unique to you. It's fun to try new ways of working through stressful situations, but know it's a process, and it's okay if the first couple of activities you choose to implement into your life aren't working well for you. All right, so now let's move on to a topic that's highly relevant on college campuses: stress culture, which is defined as the belief that stress is a result of hard work rather than the result of a difficult situation. This may seem counterintuitive at first, but let's take these phrases. I was in the library studying until 3 a.m. Or I don't have time to cook dinner, I'm too busy. Now think of the reaction when people say these phrases. Is it, are you okay? Is it recommending that you should go to the beach? Generally, we end up actually taking pride in these actions. We feel proud that we were able to pull an all-nighter. And that's what we mean by stress culture. We're constantly encouraging ourselves and each other to work until we're stressed, or so stressed we have trouble functioning. Though it's hard to eliminate stress culture, there are a few things we can do to avoid its impact on our mental well being. For one, you can schedule study breaks, which can look like doing something enjoyable outside of school every day. This will make you less prone to developing school related stress and cement the idea that working isn't everything. At the end of the day, taking breaks for self care will be more helpful than perpetuating stress culture. Of course, if talking through your thoughts with someone is more helpful to reduce stress, then finding support in others can be beneficial. It's when we unintentionally start competing with others about our stress levels that we create additional challenges for ourselves. If you're experiencing so much stress or your mental health is suffering, it may be time to reach out for some extra help. Counseling services offers many services, including quick response crisis services. They also offer different types of therapy and well-being workshops. Another resource is our Pulse coaches, who offer one-on-one meetings and will talk to you about problems you may be having. If you have a minute, please scan our QR code to give us your feedback. Thank you so much for listening.